Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Catherine and today I thought I would do a language learning tag, and I'm sorry if you can hear any sounds. There are a lot of kids outside. There is like a little hill in front of my window and it's winter and they're just sledding down and having fun, so I'm sorry if you can hear anything. And yeah, I'm also sorry that I haven't uploaded a lot in a while. I'm really busy. I work full time. I try to do everything. I try to read. I try to learn languages. And it's just a lot. And I feel tired. And I honestly don't have that much time to film because I work so much. And when I get home, it's like dark, and my family is home. And yeah, it's just a lot. But I promise I will get better at this. And so the first question in the language learning tag is, what do you consider to be your native language? And so technically my native language is Russian, but because I was born and raised in Latvia, I would say that I know Latvian of the level of native speaker. And because I studied Latvian and Baltic in general, Baltic languages and Baltic linguistics and literature, I would say that in some topics, in some questions, I know Latvian better, even better than native speakers. Question number 2 is, what was your first language learning experience? And as I said, I was born in Latvia and I learned Latvian in preschool, and I think I was 3 or 4 years old, and I learned the language through immersion because it was a Latvian preschool and everybody talked in Latvian. I had one Russian friend who, he didn't know how to speak Latvian, so we stuck together, but I was an active kid and I wanted to be friends with everyone, and I just talked with everyone. And I remember walking home with my mom and telling her these new words, like these new vocabulary, especially like, oh, do you know how gum is in Latvian? Or do you know how, I don't know, oak tree is in Latvian? Oh, it was really fun. And honestly, I don't consider it to be my first learning experience because when you go to Latvian school, you learn Latvian as a native speaker and you start with all of those grammatical things. You do more difficult things. And honestly, I would say that my first learning experience was English in third grade when we started learning language from scratch, and literally just learning, and not being in English speaking country where you must learn the language to survive. Question number 3 is, what languages have you studied and why? And I think I'm gonna make an entire video about this where I talk in those languages and explain why I started learning them and how I started. But I can say that I know Russian, Latvian, I studied English, I studied German, I studied what did I study? I studied Spanish, but before Spanish, I tried to self-teach myself French, which obviously didn't go well, and I didn't stick with it, and I didn't learn French because it's too difficult to learn on your own, especially as a teenager. I think I was very excited to learn French after I got back from the France, Netherlands, Belgium trip that I went to in 8th grade, and I was so excited to learn French, but obviously it didn't work well. And so I started learning Spanish, and then I learned Lithuanian and then Italian. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I think I told you in some videos that I learned German at school. We have this thing where English is our first foreign language, and then in fifth grade. At the end of fifth grade, you have to choose between Russian and German, and I chose German because Russian is my native language, and even though I am not perfect at Russian grammar because it's really hard and I don't know everything, I decided to learn German because I was that person. Question number 4 is, how does your personality affect the way you learn languages? And I would say that it affects me in what information I consume, what topics I read about, what movies I watch, what I don't know, what things I write about. Like, my interests affect the way that I learn languages, and as you can see, I have a ton of books in English, so I absolutely love reading. So I bought and read a lot of books in English, and that was the way that got my English level from like elementary to upper intermediate to even advanced, I would say. And so yeah, like, I would say that your interests and your, like, if you're introvert, if you're extrovert, that's definitely going to affect the way that you learn languages. And as an ambivert, something between introvert and extrovert, I wouldn't say that I would go out and about and like start a conversation with a native speaker. I'm not that person, but if you are, that's amazing. But yeah, for me, it's more like quiet language learning and just like reading books and watching things that I love. Especially, I love watching movies and videos about cooking, traveling, books, like planning, being motivated, studying, those kinds of things. Question number 5 is, do you prefer learning languages in class or individually? And I've had both of those experiences in the past because, as I said, in Latvia we learn a lot of languages, and in some schools you can even learn Chinese, Japanese, French, Spanish, like all of that. In my school, unfortunately, it wasn't an option, but yeah, here they teach you a lot of languages, and most people are bilingual or even multilingual, and I would say that I prefer studying like a mix of both of those. I really like studying individually, but I also love to have a professor, a teacher, a tutor to explain to me. And what I like about learning in class is that you can actually speak with other people and you have a lot more immersion, you have a lot more, like, you have to step out of your comfort zone a lot more. When if you learn individually, you may just read or just write or just watch videos, and like, you may lack in some areas, but when you study in class, it's everything, and the teacher has a plan and you can ask anything. So I think I prefer both of those. Like, I like a mix of both of those, if it makes sense. Question number 6 is, what are your favorite language learning materials? And at the moment, I would say it's YouTube, because there is everything, like starting with grammar, vocabulary, listening. You can maybe even practice speaking there. You know, there are a lot of language learning YouTubers who have these classes. They teach you. You can watch vlogs in any language. So I'd say that YouTube is my favorite at the moment. Question number 7 is, how much time do you spend actively learning languages per day or per week? And with working full time and with having all of those things that I have, I would say that I don't spend enough time, unfortunately. I would say that I try to learn Italian about 3 to 4 hours a week, and then Spanish and German a little less. But again, it depends on my priorities, because now my priority is Italian, so obviously I'm gonna spend more time actively learning Italian. And then Spanish, I think I'd say like 2 hours per week, and German also maybe 2 hours per week, a little bit less. But then I do a lot of passively learning, and I don't know, I honestly don't know how many hours. I have to count that. Question number 8 is, what are your short-term and long-term language learning goals? And I'm gonna leave below my 2021 language goals. I would say that my short-term goal is to get back where I was with Spanish and get back where I was with German when everything happened and I just kind of stopped learning them. And my long-term goal is to definitely get fluent in Italian and in German. I don't know if I will ever be able to get fluent in Spanish. Hopefully I will, but yeah, I would love to get fluent in Italian and German, and really get better in Lithuanian. I would say that my Lithuanian is somewhere like B2 level, because I don't understand everything, but I understand most things, and I can watch a lot of videos, I can read books, I can do a lot of things, but I'm definitely not as confident. So those would be my question. Number 9 is, what is your favorite language? And at the moment, my favorite language is Italian. I absolutely love that language. It's so melodical, it's so romantic, it's just so beautiful. And yeah, some time ago it was Spanish, because I thought there is nothing more beautiful than Spanish, until I came across starting Italian. And yeah, I also really like Lithuanian. I like all of the languages. I think Russian is a beautiful language, Latvian is a beautiful language, German is somewhat a beautiful language, but yeah, my favorite is Italian, definitely. Question number 10 is, what is the next language you would like to learn? And honestly, I haven't thought about this much, because I started learning Italian just about 5 months ago, and I don't think it's smart to start another one. But I was thinking about Greek, because I love Greece and I would love to visit Greece. I also was thinking about Portuguese, because it's similar to Spanish and Italian, and I could learn that language easier, but I need to get fluent in Spanish or Italian first before I move to another Romance language, because it's gonna, like, my mind is gonna blow. And it's been really hard to learn Spanish and Italian at the same time, because they just get mixed in my head so easily. And if I start third Romance language soon, it's just gonna be a disaster. And the last question number 11, is, what advice can you give to new language learners? And I would say that my top 1 advice is to not be afraid, to put yourself out there, to not be afraid to start. I know it can be very intimidating and you don't really know where to start, especially if you start alone, if you learn the language individually on your own, if you don't have a teacher, if you don't have someone who is motivating you. It's daunting and intimidating, but I would say, like, stick to your plan, make a plan, stick to your plan, and then, like, don't give up. And when you are about to give up, remember why you started, and just don't be afraid to speak also. That is a very important part of language. And I know some people who learn a language to just, like, read in that language or just watch movies, and they never speak, and that's okay to them. But in general, people like to speak in the language, and so don't be afraid to make mistakes. Native speakers will always understand you. Even if you make 100 mistakes in 100 words, they will understand what you mean. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know my thoughts were kind of, like, messed up and all over the place, but I hope this video made sense, and I will see you very soon. Bye!